So next guest recently launched a wireless carrier aimed to encourage its customers to use their phones less. Joining us right now is Andrew Yang, founder and CEO of Noble Mobile. He's a former candidate for president, also candidate for New York City mayor, and more recently the founder of a new political party called Forward. And I do want to ask you about what you think is going on in this country and this city, but I want to talk about Noble first and understand what's happening here. I saw this ad, which is very funny, by the way. Explain what Noble is doing, and I want to get into the economics of what you're trying to create here.
Oh, sure thing. My friend Mark Cuban started a company called Cost Plus Drugs, where it buys generic drugs in bulk and sells them to the American people at a modest 15% markup. And I thought, can we do that for data? It turns out that Americans are paying twice for our wireless data as Europeans, Australians, Israelis. There's a hidden data tax on Americans. So we thought we might be able to.
You mean our cell phone bill?
Problems. Yeah. I was paying Verizon $140 a month until very recently. Obviously, switched to Noble. And I was a customer for 25 years. I made a purchasing decision because Verizon was the best network. But at this point, the networks have essentially achieved technical parity with each other. And I was paying for a distant memory that was no longer really accurate.
Are you arguing, like, where does this tax come from? Is this a monopoly or a duopoly or an oligopoly between these companies?
Well, a lot of your viewers hold Verizon AT&T stock not for the growth, but for the cash. They're paying out $18 billion in dividends every year. And if you look at the market nationwide, Americans are spending $167 billion a year, $83
No, I'm just
per
saying,
month.
But are you saying that the reason we're paying more is because they're a duopoly or a cartel? Like, are they artificially holding prices higher, or are they using what they're making to try and reinvest and give us the next technology?
Well, clearly they're not investing in network capacity. They're investing in dividends. And the reason why Americans are paying $83 a month as opposed to the 40 or 50 it should be is because every year the big carriers ratchet up prices because that's the way they can make a little bit more money. But they're not investing in networks in the same way they are dividends. It's clear.
Let's understand what the Noble service is, what networks it's running over. These are not your own networks.
I joked, it's like I was busy building cell towers. No, we're running on the T-Mobile network, right. And what we do is we give everyone unlimited data at $50 a month, but we will give you up to $20 in cash back based upon the data you use. So that's the put your phone down incentive, where
yes.
if you don't use much data in a given month, you can get $12, $15, $18 right. back.
And we should say, what's so amazing and what I sort of was enamored by was an ad campaign which was basically saying, put your phone down. That was the entire sort of idea, which is that you actually want people to use their phone less, not more.
Yeah, I'm a parent, and you tell your kids, hey, look up and touch grass and the rest of it, and then you're staring at your phone all the time. I'm also someone who likes money, and so if I knew that I was costing myself money every time I was doom scrolling, I would feel like a chump. and so now with Noble Mobile, you actually get money back if you put your phone down.
So, but explain that. So you pay $50 up front.
Yes.
On a monthly basis, and you can get up to $20 back?
Yeah, that's right.
So that means that the bill could ultimately be $30.
Yeah.
And how much do you have to not look at your phone to get the $30
Well, so
price?
First, let me confess to all the viewers, I'm a heavy phone user. I use my phone an awful lot. And if you use your phone an awful lot, you'll pay $50 and you're done. But if you were to use your phone a little bit less, the average person uses about 12 gigs of data in a given month, so they'd get $8 to $10 right. back. That would be normal.
Okay, now the question becomes, how are you able to afford to charge just $50 and possibly less over the T-Mobile network, and T-Mobile charges more than that for the same service?
Again, it's because of the pricing power that's maintained by the carriers. It's supported by billions of dollars in ads, and everywhere you look, you see wireless ads right. For the big three. But the truth is, this is a for-profit business with hard-nosed investors. We think there's a ton of growth in this area because Americans are now looking to cut their monthly bills.
You're buying access to their network on a wholesale basis.
Yeah, that's right.
So what does that same $50 cost you?
No, I mean, obviously we can't disclose all of the ins and outs, but just let me say that you can make money at $50 a month for unlimited data.
So this is not being subsidized by venture capitalists early on at this $50 rate, or possibly even down. Are you taking losses on new customers?
No, we are not. Every single customer makes money from day one.
And T-Mobile is happy with this arrangement?
So T-Mobile believes that having different offerings in the marketplace is going to be good for consumers. Also, Verizon, AT&T tend to be a little bit more expensive, and so if you see an upstart brand growing, it's probably going to be at the expense of a couple of their competitors. Verizon's #1 in market share here in New York and around the country. We think that's where a lot of the growth is going to come from.
Not to mix in a little politics, but you did run for mayor of the city.
Yes, I did.
So what do you think is going on here? Who are you supporting?
I wish that it were not as fragmented a field. I wish that Eric Adams dropped out. He has no path to victory, and that you had a true race between Zohran Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo, and then we could see what New Yorkers really want. In my opinion, we're being penalized for the fact that we had a closed primary in June that disproportionately empowered voters that may or may not be in the mainstream.
So therefore, it sounds like you would not be supporting Mamdani?
I think Mamdani is on track to win. I'm someone who wants what's best for New York City, and so I'm hoping that he does good things for the city. But
it sounds like you're voting for Cuomo?
No, I met with both of those candidates as well as a couple of others, but I haven't endorsed.
You want what's best for New York City, so you're hoping Mamdani does good things.
I think he's on track to win because you don't have a one-on-one race.
You can't stick with what you said. Say it'd be a disaster for New York if he does win, just because you're a Democrat.
I have a very long right. First, I'm not a Democrat, and second, I had a long write-up about my thoughts on.
That's
right.
I'm like most of your viewers. I'm an independent, Joe. That's 50% of the country.
What do you think of Kathy Hochul?
I don't think it is.
And what do you think of Kathy Hochul's decision to endorse him?
No, I think that it's politics. She was under a lot of pressure to endorse Zohran because he's the Democratic nominee, and every day that I'm sure that drumbeat was louder in her office.
And do you think that made sense, given some of the things that he's now said about her?
No. Again, I mean, I've been on the inside of some of these.
Well, that's why I'm curious. You've been inside the system, so I'm curious, sort of like how you actually see what's happening here.
Yeah, well, what I see is party politics that's not really solving the problems of New York City residents or New York State residents, which is one reason why people are leaving the state, in large part around affordability. It's one reason why I started Noble to try and lower households' costs. And this is the kind of thing, in my view, that we should be talking about in terms of what our office holders are or are not doing.
What's different between what you do and what Mint Mobile does?
What we're doing is building in an incentive for you to use your phone less. What Mint's doing is sort of a discount offering, but they're different approaches. I like anything that saves Americans money. What we have, we think, is better and more innovative because the savings you get back in your account, we pay a 5.5% interest rate within Noble. So we want to build a set-it-and-forget-it savings plan, which we think is the first of its kind.
That then you can use to pay your phone bill?
Yeah, you can just use it to pay your phone bill the following month.
Quick final, go back to politics for a second, just nationally.
Yes.
Since you ran for president. What do you think of the Democratic Party right now? Is there anybody out there that you think is interesting to you?
All right, I'll make this pitch right now. I think the Democrats should have their primary this year. Waiting until 2027 is a disaster for the party because it's a leadership vacuum. No one knows who speaks for the party. There are a bunch of candidates, many of whom I know, who are stealth running already. Just pull the primary up, anoint a leader, and then have that person speak for the party.
Who would you put on that list right now?
It's the same list we all have, but I will say I'm friends with a lot of these characters. I think Westmore of Maryland is going to be very, very formidable. He's a positive individual. I know him from New York and other places. But he's one of several. I think it's going to be a governor. I think it's going to be someone who is not part of the Biden administration. You don't think it's some new person who's going to emerge
out of nowhere? And that's sort of, I think a lot of people in the Democratic Party, that's their hope, frankly, that there's a new name.
It better.
Well, I think that we're going to see some surprises in that field, but there are about half a dozen governors who, right now, in my mind, are going to be the front runners.